Hello! Welcome everybody. How y'all doing? Why, good afternoon. Well, happy Wednesday. Hi. Sorry about yesterday. Snake, hello. So, sorry about yesterday. I I was like right about to stream, doing great after waking at farmer hours. You know what? Fair. So, sorry about no stream yesterday. Essentially, I was getting ready to stream, and then Sil was like, "Sal, get in here now!" And I'm like, "What's happening?" And I joined in, and it was everyone was just going on about everyone was just talking about how Gura graduated, which is crazy because like Gargura is probably like the biggest VTuber, at least in English. Maybe just period, actually. Because, like, I don't see anything about any of the Japanese VTubers at all in the VTuber space, and you'd think, like, you'd at least see the biggest people. And I see stuff for Gura, or I had seen stuff for Gura in Japan, like, consistently. But, anyway, Gura graduated, and everybody was talking. Yeah, no, VTuber Twitter went up in flames. Everybody was freaking out over that, and it was so interesting. But I have an embarrassing thing to say, probably, maybe. As far as, even though I would say that I'm a big VTuber fan, I follow the whole industry, not just my friends and myself. I never watched Gura. She was just like never live. Like the entire time that like I was interested in watching her, she never went live. That's probably why she graduated, because she never streamed much, from what I could tell. So yeah, but still, it's sad. It's like crazy how it. It's so crazy and kind of sad that it's like end of an era, kinda. To the ball game, man. She was huge. The point of no escape. Exactly. Yeah, Guru is everywhere now. Guru gone. Although apparently her old account is already active again, and her account before she joined Hololive that people hacked down or like hunted down, I, which is crazy to me that like people were able to find it. Apparently, it even got a an anime like a VTuber model thrown onto it at some point, because I don't believe it used to just be like a no face music account, if I remember right. But I'm going off of like like reading little snippets of stuff here and there. So apparently her old identity is already alive again. So there's a solid chance she'll probably just be a VTuber, but not for Hololive. So that's good at least. Dodger's doomed without her. Yeah. Yeah, no, as far as Hololive goes, I think the only one I really watched were Ori, Ollie, and Bay. But as far as those are like the only three that I ever really liked and watched much. Not that I disliked anybody for the, but those are the only three I followed anything about. And I've always been more of a V Show Joe girly. If I was to say I'm a fan of somebody, of like big VTubers. Genuinely, it's like Iron Mouse suddenly. Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of crazy to think about. But who knows? I'm like I said, I'm glad that she's not like retiring. She's just not working at Hololive, and because of the way the Japanese corpos work, just Gargura is gone, but the person behind Gargura is still gonna be around doing stuff. So that's at least. Past life on my iPod. I can't wait for her new independent. Yeah, exactly. You know what I think is really crazy though is that somehow certain member of Hololive that I follow has been allowed to just have two lives this whole time and is just allowed to keep making content on her old life the whole time. I still think that that's really funny that just like everybody knows who both of the like who they are on both lives, and she's just allowed to have two, and she's just like does double full time basically, and you still think that that's crazy. I not gonna. it's considered impolite in VTuber to talk about in the VTuber community to talk about stuff like that. But I still, like I said, I just think it's like crazy and funny that they just let her have two lives when they've never let anybody else have two lives. Like, yeah, no, you can keep making stuff on your old account. Go ahead. But yeah, so anyway, I got pulled in and reacted to the Gura stuff with people, and sounds like an internet wizard's curse. Double full. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how much you're putting into stuff. Like, it really depends, but it's still like funny to me. But yeah, I'm not sure how much of a curse it would be. Some people are just built different and like are workaholics. Honestly, if I could, I feel like I would kind of be like that if I had the means to have enough projects going actively. I feel like if I just had like an assistant or something, somebody to just like rattle my chains whenever I stopped being productive for too long outside of like planned time. You know what I mean? Like, I think I could be like that because I certainly have enough anxiety over being productive on my Twitch stuff to warrant that. But yeah, no. After the stuff with Gura, I ended up going and just like hanging out in the Discord from from like 9 o'clock to 5 in the morning my time. But that was such. I actually had such a fun time with that, just like hanging out with everybody. So no regrets. Part of me is like, I should just start. I need to start doing like community stuff and hanging out with all of you, like actually like hanging out with all of you more. I feel like I don't do enough stuff like that. You know, honestly, there was a time, not even that long ago, like 6 months ago, that even if I was to try, that like if I went and tried to just join my own Discord and just sit there, I could sit there for hours and nobody would join. So, you're part car, correct? Can you explain what Top Gear is about? Because every time I hear about it or see a clip about it, I know nothing about cars. In fact, whenever I talk to other people about cars, they get mad at me. Or a lot of the time when I try talking to people about cars, they get mad at me. Sure, the time we get, oh, you know. But yeah, no, I've actually been trying to get more into cars lately because I do have a couple friends who are really into cars now, as I'm sure if you've seen the Sullivan Nights, you would know about. And I've actually been paying more attention to cars that I see. But hi, Mercury. Long longer than I expected. I was doing stuff in the morning, and always though they'll be done in a couple minutes. Everyone's usually sleep early. Yeah, the thing is that I am. So a funny thing about Cell, I am very much the type that if you get me going on something where it's just like just one more, I will do it forever. I will just keep going. This is why I've banned the game Civilization from my computer. I really liked Civilization, but if it's not something where I need to stay up for 8 hours, like if I needed to stay up all night, Civilization is the game I will boot up. But if I just try to play it for fun, I cannot stop myself enough time because I will see all the moves I want to make and I'll be like, I gotta keep going. Gotta keep going. Just one more. Just one more. Just one more. Well, just one more. And then like 6 hours passed. And then I'm like, wait. I'll be like falling asleep at my computer, just like, oh, I guess I should go to bed. What time is it? 10 o'clock in the morning the next day. You know what I mean? Like, I can't play Civilization anymore. So the conversation, like hanging out last night in the call, was kind of like that a little bit. Temperature passes as you conquer the world. Yeah, exactly. Slime Rancher or Minecraft, I have to artificially limit myself from losing time to those games because I will literally. Oh, 100%. I agree. I'm really can't wait to. I really want to play Minecraft again. Although I feel like Minecraft isn't fun if you're not playing it with other people. And so I really want to have I really can't wait for us to do like a Minecraft server or something again soon. But yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, God King. Yeah. um but yeah, yeah, like I said last night I ended up hanging out forever in the server. The funny part is that I actually when I started streaming like in the server or like hanging out in the server, I'm just like, I'll just hang out. I was actually shopping around for Warhammer stuff because part of me kind of wants to get into Warhammer because I have also some friends into Warhammer, and I was just kind of like, you know what? If someone wants me to get into Warhammer, I should have a like I was just looking at the factions, and I'm like, if somebody really wants me to get into Warhammer, I will get into Warhammer. Let me pick a faction for if that ever happens, because I just got done listening to somebody talk about it. One of my, honestly, I'll even say, yeah, I just finished hearing my friend Novella talk about Warhammer, and I was just like, you know what? I need to go pick a faction. So I went and was looking, and I'm just like, I was just talking to people. I was like I was just shopping around, and then it turned into, and then the idea was supposed to be, I will go look at Warhammer for a bit in call, and then I'm gonna hop onto like Warframe or Fortnite and just play a game or something until I get tired or bored, and then I then I'll hop off, which would have been like an hour or two. Go do my Fortnite dailies, but then people kept popping in and then talking, and then I never played a game. It just ended up being sell casually chats with people for more than 12 hours. Like a full work day. Someone that is a major Warhammer 40k fan, World of Pure Imagination, starts playing. I will say, I enjoy Warhammer. I really wanted to get it, to talk about that for a moment. I really wanted to get into the Necrons because I thought the Necrons were cool when I heard their lore, but then I don't like their designs seem hard to customize. Like no matter what, they're still gonna be skeleton robots. I was really hoping they'd have a little bit more variety in how they looked because I was looking at all their units and I'm like, this faction feels like me on paper. But then I look at them and then all of their designs are like, I can't sellify these. And everybody I know who does Warhammer, they paint them like in like girly pop cuts like color schemes and stuff and like fun like like their color. And I'd want to have my guys all painted like cell colored, and I'm like, it would look goofy on Necrons. I am not a very, you know what I mean? So instead, I was like, I guess elves would be kind of cool. So I was looking at the elves instead. Warhammer fan, and that still doesn't explain at all anything about how you interact with the setting, the board game, the books, the fan animations. Yeah, Power Washer. Yeah, Necron faction because they're the source of some of the best dark comedy right alongside the orcs. Yeah, you could, you know what? You could see the Necrons. Maybe I'll keep looking at the Necrons. Like I said, they're all just skeletons, and like skeletons are cool, but I'm also like, I don't think I'm goth enough to like go all in on like skeletons as an aesthetic. Even for like a game, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'll keep looking. Uh, the higher ranking noble types. Pharaoh Necro. Like I'm not gonna dress up as one. I just thought it was a fun idea because I was looking at it. Because like I was just thinking like, oh yeah, if I was to get like units or whatever, or plus it just seems like a fun art project. I like having little projects and things to work on. I actually genuinely really wanted to get into Gunpla for that reason. Actually, there is in fact a Gunpla on my throne of my favorite mecha of all time, which is Gurren Lagann. I didn't know they made a Gunpla, and I genuinely really want it, and I have sat and thought and looked at it a couple times where I'm like, I should contribute money to that. I want that bad. Like I'll start throwing my own money at that one. I want it. Ready for yeah, which is a human blink turned into a necro. Like I said, I don't know enough about Warhammer. I skimmed a wiki. I was skimmed Wikipedia on all the major factions though. Rant, rant, rant. Yeah, like I said, I kind of wanted to get like it's just one of those things. I love art stuff. Anything that requires me being a little bit artistic, like customize a thing. I'm like, yeah. And anything that is nerdy or collecty, I always love that stuff. I am very easy to get into things. And I'm always trying to get into more things. Like I said, I have a bunch of friends who are really into cars. I'm trying to get into cars. I feel like I'm weird in that I'm like I like the idea of being a little bit into everything. I don't have to be a super fan of everything, but you know what? I like knowing a little bit about everything and having a favorite of everything or being able to talk a little bit about literally everything. Something about that just makes me happy. Like, it makes me feel well-rounded as a person. And I'm also a nerd, and that's like one of like the biggest things in my identity as a person that I like feel strongly about is that Cell is a nerd. So I'm always all in on like nerdy things. I want everything. So you know what I mean. I'm just happy to learn more about stuff. I want to get into things. Recently aware of things happening. Yeah, I. But yeah, I. And then what I've done today before stream, and the reason why I actually intended stream to start like 6 o'clock. Actually, I was like, I'm a start stream early today to try to and the reason that didn't happen is my friend Sil was doing a maid cafe stream, and she has never seen anything with maid cafes. She was sitting and talking on stream about how she doesn't know how it goes or what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what it does? I thought you were, I thought you're like, yeah, never. You've never seen an anime where they go to a maid cafe. You've never watched a YouTube video about Japanese maid cafes. Ever? Like, such a cornerstone of like Japanese otaku culture. Everybody knows this stuff. And I guess, actually, you know what? I kind of had that conversation with people last night. I feel like to be well rounded, you need to know stuff. Like, it's important to know things. I think like one of the worst things you can be is dumb. Like and you don't have to be smart in everything. Or you know what I mean? but like just being like completely like, what is that to everything? I never heard of it. Just that's just like something about that just feels like saying no to life. No brain stuff full of Metal Gear. Don't do it. I love Metal Gear. You like I said, if you're really into some things that you know what I mean. I just don't get why people don't want to be like well rounded and at least know like a synopsis of as much stuff as they can. You know what I mean? Maybe. I don't know if I'm talking crazy talk. But yeah, apparently though, nobody like apparently though it's been long enough that even people who I swear have been around long enough don't remember my maid cafe stream where I pretended to be a maid on in a VR chat stream like what Sil did today. So part of me is like, maybe I have to do that again. You know? That might be fun. Because I love that kind of stuff. Like, I love that sort of like theme parky vibe. Just something that, like, I don't know. I feel like we need more whimsy in our day to day lives. Like, that is like one of the biggest things I'm jealous of Japan over is that they have like themed girl bars and maid cafes and all that kind of stuff just everywhere. You can just go do that places. Like in Japan, you literally like there is just bars where it'll just be like, you know, we are the this is a bar and all the girls here are going to be dressed like dragons and they will act like you're a great wizard when you come in and you like something about that is fun. I love it. Like I want that in my day-to-day life. I like sometimes I want to go and just like theme park it up somewhere a little bit. A buddy of mine gets into a new hobby. I always get them to tell me about it in depth even when I don't particularly like the subject or got a car buddy. I now know about the basics of getting cars, repairing them than I did before. Everything can show you that you have enjoyed the. Yeah, exactly. That is exactly how I feel about that, Mac. It's really good for like it's connecting with other people. It's like trying to know about their thing, but also it's just I think it helps you be a well-rounded human being just knowing about stuff. Is like there's, you know, very few things that I say are like humans are kind of made for. And I think one of them is knowing things. We are like naturally curious. We want to learn about stuff. Or at least that's what I've been told. I'm not a human, of course, but I like this is my understanding of humans. I but I you know, you want to learn stuff. We want to know about things. And, you know, it's a good way to connect with people. So like, you know, it's nice to just be able to have at least like a basic conversation with as many people as possible. Because you know what's the worst is when you talk to somebody and you don't even like nothing that they're into or you don't know you can't like maintain like basic conversation with somebody. I know like not everybody wants to be like obviously small you like I almost want to say like it's like small talk. Kind of is. But you know what I mean? You never know when you get like stuck in a room with somebody or something and you're like, well, what do you have to talk about? Like, you need to be able to, like, know some stuff, you know? So, yeah. I, boy. We actually have some fun new streams coming up that I'm really excited for. Also, I'm trying to organize. I have two collabs with a single person that I'm trying to organize, and I'm trying to find ourselves another guest for some more guests for Sullivanite. Like I have people I want to invite, but I've kind of gotten like weirdly nervous again about asking people. Like I'm like I need to do like more research and stuff about like what to talk to people about. It seemed to have been going well. Like I thought so. I'm not gonna go into it, but I had a couple moments in some of my recent Sullivanites where I got all like, "Oh no, what do I say now?" and I was kind of worried that I like maybe messed some stuff up. No one said anything, either you guys, but like it's stuff that I did for myself, and then I'm like, I need to rethink this a little bit, maybe plan a little bit better, you know. But also like, then again, I'm also like chronically afraid of like everything. I am a very anxious person, so I like I need to work on that. Like, well, specifically socially anxious. Like, and not even like socially anxious. I'm really paranoid about being a bother to people that I think are cool. If I like people, I don't want them to be annoyed or dislike me, and then I get anxious about it. So the funny thing is I'm more than happy to embarrass myself at like, in public, and it wouldn't bother me at all because I'm like, odds are none of these people will ever see me again and recognize me. But if you're like, hey, you see that person over there? You think they're cool, right? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, now go talk to them. And then I'm like, oh no. I'm gonna think they've all gone pretty smoothly except for maybe the. You know what? Fair. I'm probably overthinking it. I Cell gets in their own head about a lot of things like that. But yeah, at some point though, I do want to start like I really need to start. Part of me is like I'm also starting to run out. Like I have a solid group of maybe like I don't know. I want to say maybe 10 people I could ask still of like my friends and like my I almost want to say kind of friends, but it's more like my like I have about 10 people between my close friends and my less close friends that I'm like, yeah, I should ask them. And then I'm like, who do I ask after that? You know what I mean? So I'm actually starting to get to the point where I'm gonna need to actually expand outward of actually like having people like you know what I mean. I'm gonna start having to talk to people who I don't know very well, or I have or it might be people who this is my first major interaction with them, and if I want to keep having the show work the way it was originally planned to, and that's scary. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I could do like acquaintances, like people who like I know but like have never like talked to more than once or twice. That might be a little bit easier. Like, I who's a good example of somebody who I've talked to maybe like once or like Shiri. I know I've met Shiri Bun once. Like I've talked to them like exactly one time actually. Like I like but I just name dropping other streamers. Like I've met them exactly one time. So like that might be easier than somebody who I've never talked to, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, it's something to think about cuz I'm like like I said cuz it's still like a where do I go from here? But I don't know. Maybe I'll just get through my. At some point, though, I wanted to do a. I wanted to do like an end of season, and then an idea I had was like getting like a season wrap up thing. Yeah, you know what? I could like I do know Puck. Puck would be a Puck actually believe it. Puck actually is in the list of like I know Puck. Maybe not well, but I know Puck. Puck would be on my list of people to ask on eventually. They not even would be. They actually already were on my list of people who I'd want to ask at some point. Return the favor. Be on my talk show. I I'm in a completely different space now. That's like the crazy part. Honestly, to flip back to Puck's show, that was so embarrassing for me in hindsight. Like I did not know what I was getting into with that. Like I legitimately, if I had known, I would have done that entirely. I would actually, I'll be honest, if I was in a mood at the time when I signed up for that where I was just like I was kind of just in a like fuck it, we ball kind of like mentality where I was just like I had been streaming for 2 or 3 years and I was just like I need to start making shots cuz you miss every shot you don't take. And if I had like thought about it critically beyond like this could be a big opportunity and could be fun, I don't know if I would have actually agreed to be on the show because like I feel like my whole section on that was so embarrassing now. And also, I had multiple disconnections where it crashed my whole computer. Like, you know what I mean? And I think fuck's really cool and funny, but yeah, like I said, I am like I would have. I wish that could have been done entirely differently. I don't like yeah. uh, God, I'm actually surprised you'd seen that. Like, like genuinely, like I would not have expected you to have like been aware of that because that was a year or two before you hung out here. I'm shocked you like. I don't think I've brought it up in forever either. What the Puck season 2 episode 5? Oh, you know the exact number. Okay. Um. Wait, were you just like going through Puck's show and you're like, "Hey, it's Sal," or was it like you were actively like, or did I say something about it at one point and you were like looking for it? Hi, Brave Fool. Welcome in. How are you? Or this is just my own curiosity. I'm just like, how? Now you chatted about this for a moment, months and months ago. Ah, okay, okay. Reasonable, fair, most adequate. Good job. Stay reasonable. I, I see. Then if you've watched it, you understand why I found that episode to be found that to be very embarrassing. Although, you know what? You know what? I find it to be embarrassing, but I also wouldn't delete it. Like, sometimes there's embarrassing things where I'm like, I want this off the internet. And then there's embarrassing where I'm like, oh, God. You know what I mean? Like, but like, I don't care. I'm like, it's like a learning experience, it's almost like good embarrassing. It's like, yeah, that was me at the time. You know what I mean? It's like good embarrassing memories, if that makes sense. Because sometimes you could be like, it almost feels more like a good way to put it would be we like it's like your parents showing baby pictures. it's I'm like I'm not I'm embarrassed that that's out there and how that went down, but also like I like and I'm like I may not want people to go find that and watch it, but I'm also like I don't know if I would take that back necessarily, I guess. A capture of a moment in time. Yeah, exactly. I am I am very glad that OG Cell isn't the Cell that is on there, because OG Cell is kind of a monster. Like I look at that original model and I'm just like horrified at it so much. It was so bad. I I have showed it off stream a few times, and I think even on stream before. It's the destroyed grade school air cup that was glued back together again. Yeah, exactly. That was my guest appearance on What the Puck. It's a it's a macaroni art from when I was a child that I'm like I don't necessarily want people to go look at, but I'm glad somebody saw it. So, but yeah, no, Puck would be fine. But yeah, like I I'll put them on the list of people to ask. Like for sure. Like they already were on the list, but I'll put them I'll put them higher up on the list. But yeah, I the funny part is I've actually asked some like you know what is the thing that I actually didn't that I actually find more interesting? The people who I would so far with the Cell of a Night show, all the people who I thought would say no have said yes, and people who I thought, of course they'll say yes, I've had several say no. I'm not going to say who in particular, but like, isn't that, I just find that like amusing that just like, yeah, like three people who I was like, oh, they'll for sure be on. And like, they were like no brainer people to ask that I was like, yeah, they'll be on. Said no. And are like, yeah, I'm not really interested in being on a thing like that. And I'm just like, huh? And then, so far, I've only asked one person who I like. Actually, it was Yarny. I'm like, I don't know if Yarny would say yes to this. And then Yarny was like immediately, like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I'll be on. When's a good time? Yeah, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, hi. uh, yeah, like I said, I just think it's funny that the people who I thought would say no said yes, and the people who I thought for sure would say so. But yeah, yeah. Sorry, we've had a couple weeks without Sullivan Nights. I Cell, like I said, Cell had gotten into to their head a little bit about it. So I'll get us somebody scheduled up soon. But yeah, like I was saying, at some point I want to end the season, and an idea I had was to get like an art piece of everyone from season one all put together. Maybe I also another idea I had was to rip off Iron Mouse and do a screen of like a group shot panning and have it be like a special starting soon screen for Sullivanites. Because that's something that she did for all of her Speak of the Devils. God, you can just hear the plagiarism. uh, but yeah, yeah, go for it. I am down for any suggestions. That's actually why I have one, two, three, four suggestion boxes in my Discord for anybody to use. One to suggest games specifically, one to suggest anything, one to suggest guests for Sullivanite specifically. I don't know why I thought it deserved its own whole channel in hindsight, but and then one to give me reaction videos that no one has posted in since the first day I put that channel up. Oh well. I don't really do react content. It was just an idea I had. Like I was like, I'm gonna have this open, and occasionally after every time there's like maybe like 20 videos in there, we'll have a section of a stream and we'll do it. And then nobody did it. Then I was like, oh, okay. As many people you've interviewed for season 1 at once? Huh. Okay, so an idea I have had, I do kind of like that idea. A thing that I have thought about with Sullivanite is that after you've been on once by yourself, when it's more of like an interview thing, I thought afterwards I would open it up to letting people come on again. And if you come on again, you can have multiple people. You know? So I thought, like, okay, I had Syl and Pokey, like, as an example, I had Syl and Pokey on as the Syl and Pokey episode, Syl and Pokey episodes. But now I could have, if Syl and Pokey wanted to be on again, I could have Syl and Pokey as an episode. So I have thought of that before. You know, I've thought about having like some stuff like that just because I thought it'd be fun. I, but like, you know what I mean. I'm never sure like about stuff. I I don't know how I could get everyone to fit around this tiny coffee table. I would need to like. I think if I was to do Sullivanite, with more than like maybe 2 guests, I feel like I'd have a hard time fitting everybody into this set. I feel like I would have to, or I would have to like get a new set design to have more than like 2 people at most. Maybe I could add a third if I added like a TV screen and had a live action person like hanging from the top, like in the center, like at the top of where my head is, like somewhere around here. But I'm like, I don't know how I could have more than like that many people. Hollywood Squares? I feel like that would be less visually interesting. I feel, you know what I mean? I guess I could do it in VR chat, maybe. Find like a movie set world or a world I could green screen in, and then I could be in the 3D and have everyone else be that. That's kind of a fun idea, actually. Because now that I think about it, I don't think I could get if I was to get like everybody on. I feel like some people would probably not come on, but I bet right now I could probably get Sil Pokey Novella, Sil Pokey Novella. I probably Kendo and James all onto one episode at the same time. I bet I could get them all to agree to do a Sullivanite with everybody, with at least them. Having the Sullivanite set as a VR world, the dream. Yo, you know what? That would be really fun. You know the crazy thing is that this set isn't even custom. This is a prefab asset I paid for. So like, the thing is like this isn't. This is Sullivanite, but this isn't like, because this isn't custom, I technically don't own this set. I'm like renting it, basically. At some point, I would love to have the funds figured out to actually get a custom set made. But that's one of those things that, like, I have higher priorities as far as even my own content creation than getting a custom set made. Because, like, also, especially since background art is really expensive. What would I want to have in a custom set? Well, I would like it to say Sullivanite somewhere, preferably in a neon sign. I think it would be I don't know. I would like it to be a little bit more celly. I would like there to be maybe a dataling or two floating around doing something, like in the background, like maybe like dataling camera people in the background floating. Basically have to draw the entire square fully. Yeah. Um I think I would want a more sci-fi couch. Like I think I would want more sci-fi looking furniture, and I would for sure want a custom cityscape behind me. Like I love generic city back there, generic, almost like generic California city, but because of all the palm trees, but like I would love to have like the Selvion Tower from the here, hold on, I'll just click to it real quick. I would love to have Vion Corp Tower from my like my screens be in the background. Like that would be something really cool. Have a button that allows you to change time of day. Oh, you want to see other times of day? Hold on. Uh, haha. Actually, I mean, I don't know why I was like. So we have sunset. Wait, no, I wasn't ready. So yeah, we can do sunset. I also can go. I don't have any of these set to toggles for some reason though. I can also have it be raining. Yeah, part of the problem with some of these is it's hard to like know exactly what I would want to put as toggles. I can make it snowing whenever I see the controls for the stream stuff. The back rooms. Yeah. Uh I did this one once in the background of a stream, and I don't know if anyone even commented on it. Just like fireworks are going off. Happy birthdays or happy New Year's. You know, actually it is raining here where I currently am. So let's go. Yeah, it's raining outside. It's a nice touch. Right? I like it. Everything fits really well. Yeah. Oh. Oh, now I'm too big. Yeah, like I said, like this is like an aesthetic that I like, but this isn't cell themed. Like I said, I would have I'm doing verbal ticks now. Uh but yeah, I would have little camera datalings. I would have everything be a little bit more sci-fi. I might put some other little touches everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? There's some stuff I could do to customize it a little bit more. I do like this background though. I think I would actually recommend using this I should probably credit this at some point. I'd have to go find it on Etsy. But yeah, no, I bought this background though on Etsy. It all was a whole thing together, including the TV. Um Including the TV asset from the like background from like that I use for like the sign for Sullivan Night and for when I have live action guests on. Yeah, they're the funny part is that there is more ways that I could set that up and I don't. Like in hindsight, like while I was doing the James Variety live action person guest episode, I realized in the middle of it that he was clipping through the TV, and I have a thing Like literally one of my assets is a TV without the screen. It's just the frame so that you put them over the TV and then you put it over them so that they are just on the screen. And I was felt so dumb that I realized that during the stream when it would be very obvious if I was to try to fix that. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah, let me just drag the frame of a TV across stream and fix an error I made that probably nobody noticed. You know what I mean? So, but you know how it is. Life is a lot of just like messing up and learning for next time. Been pretty funny to do if do it without saying anything, just keeping the conversation going as you do. It would be funny, but the thing is that I don't trust somebody else to like a guest to not say anything. Like to me, it would be a funny visual gag for something to just like I think it'd be kind of funny to have like an error happen and you just fix it and like it's obvious that you fix it, but we just ignore it. To me, that's funny. But I feel like I don't think anybody else would actually follow along with that. I think other people would probably immediately be like, what's going on? What's up?" You know what I mean? Um, in a similar vein, also for the TV, I want like a robot arm to hold the TV. Because so far with the TV, it's been just a set the TV somewhere and like having it hang from like the top up here. It you can make it look kind of like it's getting hung by something, but like over on the couch, it looks like I just set a TV on the couch. And I'm like, I would love to have like a robotic arm that comes down with a TV. I think it would look more professional. And I also would love to have a like a good location to put chat for the talk show also because I kind of don't like you guys being up here above the guests because then I feel like you're like crowding the guests. Be like put you guys here or something might be a better idea. Something like that maybe. Like on a teleprompter in the background. Yeah, something like that. Exactly. But but yeah, no, I like I said, there's some stuff I would change. But it's been like I said, it's been a fun project. I'm really glad I like that is one of the things I am probably the most happy that I made into a thing for us going forward. I think that's been a major thing for just like for the channel. Um yeah. But boy. The funny part is that I basically kind of I wanted to do a game show too. That was like a whole idea I wanted to do when I debuted. I had a game show planned and I was going to have people on and I had a whole thing. I bought a huge set of index cards on my desk. Or they're not even on my desk. They're literally in a drawer on my at my desk. And I was filling them out with question cards, like it was whose line is it at, or not whose line, if it, like it was Jeopardy, and I was gonna shuffle them and pull out like quiz show cards, and it was like a whole thing. But then I was like, I don't want it to just be trivia because that would be boring. So then I started doing like improv prompts, and then I started separate, and then it became like, then it started feeling like it was too much. Actually, hold on. Let me find my cards. Hold on. Let's look at the quiz show cards. For, if I was still doing that. Why not? Uh, or Another one. They all got jumbled together. Oh. Oh, okay. But yeah, I had this big idea that I was gonna do a game show on top of the talk show, and I was actually going to have the sunset stage be the game show and the night stage be the talk show. Okay, so some quiz. So how about you guys can play along? Let's do the quiz show with you guys as the contestant. How about that'll be fun. All right, and no cheating. We're gonna do an honor system roll here. There's not that many questions. All right, this will be fine. All right, Scout's honor. Don't Google it at home. Okay. We're not even gonna do points. It's just let's just see who gets the most right. Or tell me how many of these you get right. What is the capital of Brazil? A. Brasilia. B. Rio de Janeiro. C. Sao Paulo. Or D. Curitiba. And then you guys can just post your letter in chat. Okay. Curitiba. That one's a fun one to say. All right. B. Sao Paulo? The answer was A. Brasilia. Also, hi, Coconut. No, yeah, the answer is Brasilia. Sorry, I'm doing good. I just went and I was a maid at a maid cafe for one of my friends' streams earlier, and I got a free pizza. So I had pizza for dinner that I didn't pay for, and I'm having a good day, I would say. Okay, and I got an appointment for a thing that I'm actually excited about. So, yay. Um, so okay, next question. Which of these superheroes was not part of the original the original team of the Avengers? So cool, where do I see Maid Sylveon for scientific reasons? I was on my friend Sill's stream, but honestly, everyone, like people on her stream were like, sell Maid stream when? So maybe I'll just do a Maid Cafe stream myself and pretend to do the whole like fake you guys be or like just like do like a fake maid cafe and like VR again, like myself as a stream. That might be fun. Anyways, which of these superheroes we're doing my quiz show questions. Sleep got me tonight. That is totally fair, Mac. But yeah, which of these superheroes is not part of the original Avengers? A. The Hulk. B. Ant-Man. C. Captain America. Or D. Thor. Who is not in the Avengers? So you pick B? Interesting. Oh, so the answer was. Hi, Violet. Hello. The answer actually was Captain America. in the comics, Ant-Man was part of the original roster of the Avengers, and Captain America was actually added in later because the Avengers team were so unpopular that they needed to put somebody with star power on the team because nobody liked Iron Man, Ant-Man, or Thor. And the Hulk was an original Avenger, but he quit immediately because they couldn't write at the time. They couldn't actually write a real reason for the Hulk to stay because the Hulk hated everybody then and was basically a villain. Oh, boo boo the fool here. Yeah, no, Ant-Man is one of the original Avengers, but this is talking comics. Bulge man. There is 6 apples on a counter. You take 4. How many apples do you have? Uh, I like this one. I thought this one was funny. There is 6 apples. Store clerk, none, and a broken rib cage. Yeah, I thought that one was funny because it was like this is a question that like would the idea was it would be in like the rapid fire section. Just like there's 6 apples, you take 4. How many apples do you have? And I feel like that would get people would be like 2. Like you took 4 apples. None remained. Guy. I Yeah. Oh, here's an improv one. The original Pac-Man pizza has had scrambled eggs, corn, and mayonnaise as its toppings. What would you put on a Pong pizza? Our chat is full of apple fiends. We are the creed spoken of in the Bible. Pong's that game where it's like the ball and there's like the 2 paddles on either side. You like move the paddle and you hit the ball, and then the ball goes bong, 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 bong. I put Wally as my topping. Good choice. Okay, here's another one of the quiz showy ones. The original Tony Hawk game had which TV show on the disc to just fill up extra space? A. Jackass. B. Rocket Power. C. Simpsons. Or D. South Park. This is an actual thing. The original Tony Hawk Pro Skater game, they didn't use up like half of the disc, so they needed to put something on, so they just put an episode of a TV show in. And the only way you could know about the TV show at all is if you plugged your PlayStation game disc into your computer, and that was the only way you could get like read the disc. Gonna go with A. Answer was D. South Park. Uh, and the next one was how many members were in the original wave, English wave of Hololive? And it's 4, 6, 5, and 1. The answer was 5. I'm just gonna assume no one's gonna get that one. Um, I'm kind of skipping through these now. I feel like you would have gotten it. Oh, I'm sorry. Uh, which of the following has not been an official flavor of Mountain Dew? Huckleberry, nacho cheese, gingerbread, or gooseberry? Mountain Dew the soda. Like I said, at one point I was gonna have a whole talk show, or a whole sorry not talk show, a whole game show as a second thing that we did, and it just never got very far. I'm just going through the questions because I found them. Gooseberry? guys got bacon soda, don't trust you. To be fair, bacon soda is not a normal thing. It's a funny thing. But yeah, you actually nailed it. The answer was gooseberry. They actually did a nacho cheese Dorito flavored Mountain Dew as a experiment to show off a new flavorizing machine, and you could only drink it at colleges and it was like their attempt to get people to come like learn for PepsiCo or whatever their flavor making machine. So they made Mountain Dew flavored Doritos and Doritos nacho cheese Dorito flavored Mountain Dew. Champion right here. uh what is the capital of Australia? Sydney, or A, Sydney, B, Brisbane, C, Canberra, or D, Melbourne. And this is I'll give you one little hint. Australia is one of the countries that is the most likely to have people not know its actual capital. And I'm always shocked at how many cities I actually knew in Australia because, like, I've never been to Australia. Like, I know 2 cities in Canada, and somehow I knew all 4 of the biggest cities in Australia. And that blew my mind. I'm like, why do I know this? When I was like writing down, like, and this is for, you pick D, Melbourne. The answer was Australia has capitals. Every country has a capital, but the answer was Canberra. It was C, Canberra. All right, next one is video games. What video game franchise is considered the father of JRPGs? I've never heard of it. That's fair. I just, like I said, it was more of just like if you were to give me that, like, a list of like those cities and then some extra ones, I would have been like, that's Australia to all of those cities. And that's like what I thought was crazy because I'm like, I don't think there's very few other countries I could do that for. But anyways, what video game franchise is considered the father of all JRPGs? Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Shin Megami Tensei, or Wizardry? This is one that I wanted to do for Cell because I knew I would have gotten her with this one. Wizardry. You nailed it. Wizardry. Wizardry was a NES version of, like, an old NES version of Dungeons and Dragons that got sent to Japan, and it became like the basis of all RPGs after that. Basically, was Dragon's Quest or Final Fantasy. Yeah, the funny part is Wizardry came out first because it was near the beginning of the original NES. All right, for 2 points, we're not doing points. Name 2 girls from the song Mambo Number 5 without looking it up. I just picked that I have not heard before on the logical that if it's old, I wouldn't have heard of it. You know what? That's fair. Yeah, for 2 points, name 2 girls from the song Mambo Number 5. You know, maybe 2 girls is too easy now that I'm looking at this. Monica and Tina? Jessica and Monica? Is the answer 2? All right, here's every single girl's name from the song Mambo Number 5. Angela, Pamela, Sandra, Rita, Monica, Tina, Mary, Jessica, and Erica. I, I don't, are you guys having fun with this? I hope this isn't just like weird and annoying. Like I just thought this would be a goofy thing to do because like I said, I never use these for anything else. I made whole cue cards. Like having a great time. Oh, glad. Okay. Starbucks is named after a character from which novel? A. Dune. B. Robinson Crusoe. C. Moby Dick. Or D. Flash Gordon. Flash. Ah. Savior of the universe. Do, do, do. I. That's the only thing I know about Flash is that Queen song was based off of it, and I like the band Queen. All right, we have one vote for Moby Dick, one vote for Robinson Crusoe, and the answer was Moby Dick. I never read Moby Dick, to be honest. So, like, out of those books, I have read Dune and Robinson Crusoe. I have never read Moby Dick, and I never read Flash Gordon. Like I said, the only thing I know about Flash Gordon is the Queen song. Gonna crash out at my foolishness. All right, ready for this one? What type of beans are not used to make desserts? Like, yeah, like you know the Japanese desserts that have beans inside? So which of these beans are not used to make a dessert? A. Azuki beans. B. Soybeans. C. Black beans. D. Lima beans. Maybe I do know. D. Lima? What else you guys think? For the record, we only have two more. A. Azuki? Hmm. All right. And the answer is soy. There is no specific dessert made that asks for soybeans. There is desserts that ask for things made. There is desserts that ask for stuff like tofu, which is made out of soybeans. But technically, there is no dessert that uses soybeans themselves. At least traditionally. Obviously, you could probably put a ton of sugar in with basically anything and call it a dessert. No, I thought they were gonna trick me if I picked soy. Yeah, but yeah, there is multiple dessert. Azuki beans are the typical beans that they use for like the bean stuffed pancakes and bread and the little fish pancakes that are in Japan. China does fills cookies with sweetened black beans, and both China and Japan do lima beans as another version of their sweet bean desserts. But like I said, very few. There's almost no recipes for specifically sweets made out of soybeans themselves. I'm not a true barista. You know, that's funny. That kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. I was so positive that since coffee is beans, that if I just took like the dried black beans and ground them up and put them in my coffee maker, I would get a weird type of like, like black bean coffee. I never did that, but I always wanted to do that. And I actually thought that is like how coffee worked until I was like in high school. And then I learned that coffee isn't even a bean. It's the seed of a fruit. Like coffee is a berry, and they all have pits in them. And the pits in the coffee berry is apparently the coffee bean, because they look like beans is why they call them that. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, that like feels so like, yeah, like of course. Part of me really wants to try a coffee berry now though, because of that. Humans are silly. I think coffee is also really crazy if you think about the fact that there is a fruit that isn't that good for eating. I can't remember why, but it's not that good to eat. And humans were so dedicated to trying to figure out some way to eat this specific plant that they're like, okay, can we eat the fruit? No. Can we eat the leaves? No. Can we eat the wood? No. Can we eat the seeds? Not really. What if we grind up the seeds? Can we do something with that? Not really. What if we use the ground up seeds for tea? Yeah, you've invented a delicious beverage called coffee. Like, what? Like, there's so many steps to get there. Like, that seems like so crazy. And it's the only thing on Earth that like, it's the only seed we grind up and then make a tea with like that. Also, fun fact, coffee is technically a tea. Because technically the definition of tea is just plant material that has been steeped in hot water, which is also what coffee is. It's kind of like the whole is a hot dog a sandwich kind of conundrum, and like it is, but it isn't, but it is. Like, if you want to be like super technical about it, yeah, a hot dog is a sandwich. But would I call a hot dog a sandwich? No. You know what I mean? Uh all right. Yum sandwich. Okay, actually, okay, fun fact. Okay, so in America, there's actually sandwiches themselves as a food item are taxed differently than every other type of food because they are considered meals ready to eat and they are portable. They have a weird different tax demographic than something that you would either eat at a restaurant or something that you would make at home, right? So sandwiches get taxed differently. So the funny thing about taxes is because the definition of what a sandwich is a little bit weird, there is an entire government agency dedicated to figuring out what is and isn't a sandwich. We actually have a department of sandwich, like a federal department of sandwiches, and I think that would be the funniest job to have ever. And all they do is they go around and figure out if something is a sandwich or not so that it can be taxed accordingly. And the funniest part to me is it's a federal agency, but it varies what is a sandwich by state. So, in most states, like a sandwich is like there's a set definition. It's like a sandwich is a sandwich. But there's a couple weird ones, and my favorite one is and if something new comes out, they're supposed to like anyway. So they're supposed to decide if it's a sandwich or not. So the state of Colorado has decided that everything's a sandwich. Yeah, pretty much. Their job is to look at stuff that new food that comes out and determine if it's a sandwich or not. And let's start off with the one that makes the most sense. Boston. If you invent or not Boston, Massachusetts. If you live in the state of Massachusetts, that's where Boston is. Um their Department of Sandwich, their policy is is that if you invent a new type of food, they just, and you've existed over a certain amount of time, they send somebody there to just ask customers at your place if the food you serve is a sandwich. If that item that you invented is a sandwich. And if like 50, if enough people say yes, they like just take a poll over the course of a single day. And if enough people say yes, it's legally a sandwich. And if people say no, then it's not a sandwich. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. And obviously some things they could just look at a picture and be like, that's soup, not a sandwich. But Colorado is the worst one. Because Colorado decided, how do we determine what's a sandwich? They just started giving the sandwich card to everything. Pizza is a sandwich in the state of Colorado, legally. Literally legally. Breaded chicken is a sandwich in the state of Colorado, legally. Like breaded fried chicken. Like an open-faced sandwich, like throw a slice of tomato on a bread, that's a sandwich in the state of Colorado. Burritos, sandwich. Taco, sandwich. They just went crazy. Just like, you bread anything, it's a sandwich. You have bread involved with toppings, it's a sandwich. Because just everything's a sandwich in Colorado. And I just think that that's hilarious. It just like, I feel like it's just like a group of people who got really power hungry. Just like, we can declare anything is a sandwich. Anything within reason. All right. Everything with bread that's not bread is a sandwich now. It's just like, oh, okay. Does English have a name for an open-faced sandwich? Yeah, an open-faced sandwich. You actually have to say that whole thing. It's really long. Soup sandwich. Yeah. The last two questions, real quick. Let's just finish these off. What is the name of the planet Chewbacca from Star Wars is from? Endor, Wookiee, Kandor, Kashyyyk. Endor. Kashyyyk. And Mac is correct. The correct answer was Kashyyyk. Everyone knows it's a... Endor is where the like little teddy bear people are from. But yeah, like I said, that was gonna be a fun thing. Sylveon sandwich. What would a Sylveon sandwich be? Like, wrong furry creature. Yeah, they're not the same species. I mean, the little teddy bear people are like 2 feet tall, and Chewbacca is like 8 feet tall. But yeah, like that'd be weird. That's like being like goblins and humans are the same, right? They do look related. I mean, you know what? I can kind of see where people are coming from on that one. But yeah, Sylveon sandwich. What would I put on a Sylveon sandwich? If I was to say like, okay, I feel like I'm weird, and you know what? Okay, what is everyone's favorite kind of sandwich? So my my brain says there will be lime. I don't know if I would like lime on a sandwich. I feel like the most important thing for a sandwich named after, if like a sandwich was, if something like a food item was going to be named after you or based on you, I feel like the one of the most important things is for it to be something that you yourself would like. Can you imagine if you just hated like the mixed drink or the sandwich or whatever named after based on you? I feel like that would just be sad. That's tragic. That's not fun anymore. Just like, yeah, no, so and like, Selvion hates the Selvion sandwich. Why is it the Selvion sandwich then? You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think I'm weird in that my favorite type of sandwich is actually egg salad. Egg salad sandwiches are my favorite. And I know that that's a weird choice. Like nobody likes those. But I associate them with like uh like after the holidays. It's like we always had those the day after holidays. Wait, what do you mean when you say egg salad? Um Egg salad. You take probably like 3 or 4 hard-boiled eggs and some mayo and some mustard and some seasonings, and you mash the egg up with a fork and mix in the mayo and mustard and the seasonings. And a lot of people will add like diced pickle and stuff into it also, but I actually don't like that. And then I like to put it on toasted bread. Egg salad. And that is my favorite sandwich. And I know that I'm a weirdo. Probably like that is not a normal choice to be your favorite. The reason it's called a salad is because if you don't put it between bread, that is a type of egg salad. That aren't mostly the most healthy to eat. I am with you. Like technically, if you wanted to count, if you really wanted to expand what you define as a sandwich, my favorite sandwich would be like a hamburger, probably like a double cheese. Like would probably be like a cheeseburger with like avocado. But like if you want to go with like a traditional sandwich, my favorite would probably be like I said, would probably be an egg salad sandwich. So, so let's see here. If I was to do like a cell sandwich, call a sandwich. What would that be then? I think my favorite sandwich was something no one would call a sandwich. That's interesting. What do you mean? Um, but yeah, let's. But if we wanted to go with like the variety of ingredients type of sandwich, where it's not just something between bread, like the egg salad sandwich, I think I would probably go like salami and turkey. I like those are my favorite like traditional lunch meats. And I would probably do like Finnish meat pie. Cut it in half. Add ranch as a dressing on one side. Puck of fried noodles in the middle. Got it right one time and it was fine. It, that is interesting. Huh. Been chasing that high for years. What kind of cheese do I really like? I really like. So yeah, I would probably. This is gonna be a very boring. You know what? No, I don't actually know what I would put in a sandwich for me. The more I sit and think about it, the more I'm like, no, that's too boring. That's just like a club sandwich without tomato. I would put like salted sharp cheddar, salami, and turkey, and then like I probably wouldn't do lettuce or tomato because I don't really like those on sandwiches. I'd rather have a sandwich and a sandwich with no vegetables and and a salad as my side instead of chips instead. Like that's more like my speed. I don't really like most vegetables on a sandwich, but I would put pickles on it. and then I'd put like mayo and mustard, I guess. I don't know. I don't eat a lot of sandwiches. I don't like bread very much, honestly. Okay, that's not true. Bread is not like my favorite thing. But if I do like bread, I like sourdough bread, and I like it like freshly baked with butter, and like that's it. Like, or if not freshly baked, I like it gently warmed, so like not quite all the way to toasted. I honestly don't like bread unless it's sourdough. Yeah, you get me. Hooray. But yeah, no, like I don't like typical bread. I like sourdough. Um Sometimes I'll like bread like I'll like bread like I don't know. Like I said, I will eat things with bread, but like I don't keep bread in my house really. So, but yeah, sourdough I probably do. Rye bread reigns supreme over the other breads. I don't even know. The only way I've ever had rye, I think, is for like a Reuben sandwich, which is I don't know if they would have Reubens in Europe. Whatever rye bread you're thinking of, wrong. Fair enough. But yeah, no, I love a good sourdough. Actually, fun fact: I learned that okay, so you know those like hay bales that people feed like cows and stuff. I actually found out that they are like half rye, like the rye wheat. Like apparently, like the one of the dominant plants we make hay out of is rye, like the same rye that we make, like I said, bread out of. And I think that's crazy. I learned that from a farmer friend of one of my parents. And if you actually look up what rye is, it's like everywhere. It's like it grows as a weed here. Like, here, I'll just save image. Like, if you've ever seen this plant in America, these grow everywhere. These just grow on the side of the road. That's what rye looks like, apparently. I got taught that by like I said, a farmer friend of one of my parents. And it's just like, oh yeah, no, if you just go and take all the seeds off of these plants that grow on like the side of the road everywhere, or like this will be like a significant portion if you like don't mow your lawn for a couple months, a ton of these will sprout up there. You can just take all these seeds and grind it up and you have rye flour. And I just thought that was crazy to learn. I was just like, you can just get that's like free food basically. Of course, apparently the process of actually making flour out of that is incredibly hard, but apparently that's just everywhere. Those plants are literally everywhere. I used to take those and I would pop all the seeds off and throw them at people, like my siblings, to bother them. Free food except for dust and dirt from cars. I mean, technically they have a shell and all these other parts, and there's stuff you could do with it to make it not that bad, I assume. I mean, you only take the seeds. Like, I don't know. I don't know how much like pollution would be on them if you took them by you bother your. It is the it is the sibling duty to bother your siblings. But yeah, like I think it's crazy that there's stuff like that that you just don't get taught. Like, oh yeah, yeah, no, this you know this plant that's everywhere. That's food. That's rye. The same rye we make bread out of, and whiskey. You're just like, huh? Like I just grew up around that plant everywhere. Like I said, I have fed that plant to horses. Like it's just crazy to me that like no, like I like it took me so long to find out that's what that was. Visit home, I bother my siblings while they're gaming with their buddies, dissing their drip, talking in their slang to cringe them out. Yeah, the way to be. It is your duty, your solemn duty as a sibling. Yeah, yeah, dissing their drip. Honestly, my siblings do not have drip to diss. Everybody in my house all just dress like nobody has like that's something okay, that is something that I am actually I'm kind of jealous about other countries and stuff about is it seems like other places have more of like a fashion thing. And I'm not like the most fashion person. Like I'm trying to get into it more and care more about how I dress and stuff. But a significant amount of the people I see in my day-to-day life just wear like t-shirt and jeans everywhere. Like t-shirt jeans, boy, girl, everyone t-shirt jeans. And like basically everyone just dresses the same. Like the only real difference in how they dress anyone actually dresses at all is like what logos are on their shirts. But girls get to dress up differently. You, jeans. Yeah, I'm with ya. I mean, like, I don't know. Jeans are okay for, like, very particular instances. Like, I wouldn't want to, like, do, like, anything that involved me working is anything other than, like, length pants. Because I've had to do stuff where I had to go outside and, like, I don't know, like, work in, like, a garden or something. And be like, all right, go work in like I don't know like then I'd want pants, but that's like the one instance. I want to be the opposite of how I am. I have like 6 pairs of pants and then like 2 or 3 shorts and then like 3 or 4 skirts. And I want it to be the opposite. I want to have like 2 pairs of pants for the off chance that I need pants and then just not wear pants. I'm tired of pants. Pants are so boring. Specifically jeans, though. Jeans are very boring. But yeah, I reverse those. But yeah, but yeah, that's something I'm always jealous of. Everyone else seems to be like a lot of other places. If you look at like our crowd, everyone seems to dress so much more interestingly in like other places. I noticed that men don't have much options, but I also don't feel comfortable wearing much else. That's because I don't have my own style. Yeah, that's fair. I yeah, yeah, it's so hard to try to like dress better and be more into fashion. Cause like I will go to a lot of stores and everything is like the most normie stuff ever. Everything is like, okay, cool. You can either dress like you own a yacht or you can dress like every other schlub on the street. And that's your two options for like clothes. Or you can look like you have a job. That's the other thing. You can sit and dress like you can dress in like a suit and tie, I guess, everywhere. Need cult clothing. Where do you buy a high quality cloak? Actually, though, that's surprisingly easy. Like you can find cloaks everywhere. I think I want everyone to dress cool. I wish we had like the big subcultures like Japan. Like hold on, I'll pull up some like cool fashion subcultures. Like huh. Like like we can do in Japan there's like whole things where like people will, there's just like subcultures that you just like, people will just like choose to be in, and they have like huge wardrobes of like clothes that you pick out of for each type, and there's like new ones going in all the time, and I'm like, I feel like it used to be like that for everybody, but it's not like that anymore. Okay, Harajuku, and then I actually don't like this one as much. Uh, this one's kind of fun though. I might do the. Oh, actually, you know, here's a picture of all the fashion subcultures together, or a lot of them anyway. Okay, cool. Actually, and here's another one that's more in depth. Actually, perfect. Do you have enough money for clothes for that many occasions? No, the idea is that you just have it be your like outside clothes. You just pick like instead of everybody just dressing in like t-shirt and jeans everywhere, people pick like a broad aesthetic and then you just dress like that every time you're going for anything other than business. Okay, so this was the first thing I thought of, which is Harajuku clothes, which I like. This is something Harajuku. It's like a major fashion area. Everyone dresses all super cute. I just like love it. And then ah, big picture. Okay, so then you have Lolita fashion, which is this, which includes goth Lolita, the one in the center, which everyone just dresses like they're Victorian dolls, and I think that is super cool and like love that. And then you have I believe it's Visual K, maybe we should go with the labeled one. Hold on. This one. Hi. Okay. So like just look at that fashion. It's so much more cool and interesting than anything that we have here. So they have people who just cosplay every day as like their standard attire. That is a common thing in Japan. That's so cool. And then there's people who do like general street fashion. They also have hipsters just like America. Although hipsters are not really a thing in America anymore, from what been told. Then you have Mori K. I don't know what that. I haven't heard about that one. Then you have Hostess, which is people dressing like hosts club people, basically. Essentially, it's like a whole like genre of fashion from people who just had like. It'd be like if bartender was a fashion decision you could make. And then you've got Gothic Lolita, Sweet Lolita. Basically, it's just goth version of goth and prep versions of each other. You've got like a punk rock thing. You have like people who dress like all like traditional Japanese, but like a Japanese version of like the Lolita stuff, like Victorian era basically of them. Then you have like the Gyaru. The Gyaru is like the Yamanbai. I'm pretty sure that's still Gyaru. Then you got Yankees, and their whole thing is they're trying to dress like how they used to dress. How they used to essentially like it is people who played telephone with like old American fashion from like back in the day in Japan. They played like telephone with it, where people started like people were trying to dress like how Americans dressed in like the 80s, like the 70s, 60s ish, right? So people were trying to dress like that, and then people were trying to dress like them, and then people who were trying to dress like them, and so on and so forth, until it completely changed and it looks nothing like anything an American would wear, and it's called Yankee, and I think that's crazy and fun. And a good example of that is if you've ever played Persona 5, the Ryuji, the first boy that joins your group, the blonde-haired kid, he is a Yankee kid, and he starts dressing in Yankee to rebel because it is considered a very delinquent-y clothing style. It's like a thing that you do when you're like a bad kid, is you dress like you're American in Japan. Then you got like people who still dress like they're greasers. That's still like rockabilly, like pompadours and everything. Ride motorcycles. Yusuke Urameshi street gang kid. That's a whole thing still. Decora and Visual K, I think, is such cool fashion. Like I said, it's so cool. And then like I've looked it up before. Like a lot of European countries have not as interesting, but mostly because it's like Japan is really interesting because it's obviously you can look at a lot of it and it's a lot more visually flamboyant and anime-y. But like a lot of European countries has a ton of styles like that too. And then you go to America and our options are like, well, you have like the t-shirt and jeans folks. And then you got like what else do you have? I feel like everybody just wears t-shirt and jeans. People started doing like aesthetics, like doing like the dark academia or whatever, and like I'm like, so I don't know. But I will say something I am really glad about is that I have started seeing more interesting clothing when I go to stores now. Because last time I went to the mall, oh my god, you went to the mall? People still go to malls? Yeah, but last time I went to a mall, which was like a couple weeks ago, I was looking around in the clothing stores just because I was with family, so it was just like an interesting thing to go do. And you went outside, dastardly. Oh, mall? You mean the food court? Yeah, but there's a rest of the whole building too. Dog park kind of thing. But yeah, I was looking around in the clothing stores and they have so many interesting things. They were selling a full wardrobe that was like crocheted. And I was like, "What?" Like they had crocheted and then like in the men's section, they had crocheted booty shorts. In the men's section, so they had crocheted booty shorts and vests. And I was like, okay, when did we suddenly get way more interesting and had way more options for clothes? And like there was all sorts of interesting weird fabrics and stuff. Like there were so many like there was like whole shirts with like couch fabric or what I would have described as couch fabric and stuff like with like weird patterns and stuff. And I was like, what happened? Like when I was growing up, whenever I went to like a clothing store, your options were one of like five colors of pants in either like in either fabric or denim, and then you had t-shirts and button-ups. And then the girl clothes were interesting, but they were like, and you had more options, but I didn't get to go into those sections when I was a kid. So I don't actually know what those looked like when I was a kid. But yeah, no, just like, when did clothes get interesting? Like, there's like significantly less t-shirts. And the other thing I noticed is Hawaiian shirts for everybody is apparently really popular now. And I thought that was really interesting. Like at the mall, half of all of the clothes were Hawaiian shirts, basically, or what I would describe as a Hawaiian shirt. And I was like, why? Why did we decide that that was like a new clothing thing for everybody to do? But I don't know fashion. I am one of those t-shirt and jeans people. I wish I could dress cooler. I really want to dress like I'm a main character in a show or something. Like I had like wardrobe or like a character designer figure out what I should look like. You know what I mean? But also, I don't have money, so I don't buy clothes really either. So none of my clothes are interesting, really. Anyway, I talked a lot about clothes. I feel that probably wasn't interesting. I don't know how interesting any of that was. You know what I think would be actually like really cool? I want I kind of want to dress like cyberpunk. I think having like a cyberpunk attire would be really neat. Like full like I want like light up clothes and like plastic stuff and I don't know, something about that seems like that would be fun. Bright colors. Bright colors in like cuz like that's something I always thought was really lame is that everyone just does like it feels like all the colors left so forever ago. Like I watch movies when I'm a kid and like I found dolphin shorts at Target. Yo, nice. Yeah, I feel like when I watched movies and stuff as a kid, like buildings and cars and clothes for everybody were bright colors and interesting. And I feels like nowadays everybody's just like black pants, t-shirt, gray t-shirt, done. And it's just like and then all the cars are like black, white, silver, and beige. Or not beige, like red. And all the houses are beige. Colors in gray movies than what we were wearing. Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, man, what happened? And like, I feel like to this day, I still don't see anybody wear like nobody wears colorful clothes, and all the cars are like the same four colors, and all the houses are beige and white. All the buildings are beige, white, and gray. And I'm like, man, why is everything ugly? Everything's ugly and boring. Why? But yeah, yeah. Sometimes I think about that. Like I watched a video that was like why do you want to live in a city or something like I can't remember the exact name of the video, and it talked about how like movies growing up, especially movies from like the early 2000s and late 90s, but also to an extent like the 80s. You watched the little it was a lot of scenes where it's all the same. I have not seen the little I've heard about it though. Um but yeah, I watched the whole YouTube video and it was talking about how like they're like people who like were kids in this era, and it's a pretty big era. They're like so many of them want to move to always wanted to move to the city. And the reason why is because all of the cities in movies were like entirely made up, including how people dressed, the cars they drove, and like what cities looked like and how the buildings looked like. And it was all like super fantastical, like fake cities because it was cheaper to make that on a soundstage than it was to actually film a city most of the time back in like the day way back when. And that was like the trend is that nobody wanted to be in a real place, and that's the reason why everybody like so many people in a certain age range were like I want to move to the big city, and everybody's just like disappointed and feel like they have to be there is because of movies all basically being like, yeah, the cities are really cool actually. And then you get there and it's the same as everywhere else, but with more people instead. And you're just like, oh, they get your baited. Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, oh, I totally get this vibe. Like, 100% this vibe. Yep. Uh, yeah. Weird tossback, but like we were talking about the maid cafe thing, and I was doing the whole like sell maid as I helped my friend Sil learn about because she just didn't know anything about maid cafes, and like that is such like a so I love stuff like that. Like I said, so like I don't know. I always wanted to be able to like go to like goofy fun stuff like that. I love like the theme parkification of stuff. And I think it's just like cute, fun. It's kind of like that whole like idol culture stuff a little bit too, because like I I don't know. I really like I don't know. I like the kawaii Japan stuff, and I feel like a lot of people just like they're like they're not weebs the way I'm a weeb. I feel like I feel like the most people I know don't end up being like my kind of weeb. I think most people end up being kind of like they're just like I like anime because Goku fought the guy and it was cool. You know what I mean? And I'm like I like all the things. Next level weeb. I don't know where I was going with that. Uh, play. Oh, so I So, as a random thing, the other day I did a full deep dive into trying to learn how to make skateboards because uh a streamer I a bigger streamer I liked released skateboards as a merch item and I'm like, how do they even make skateboards? I kind of want a skateboard with my face on it. And I went down this whole deep dive. Did you know they screen print skateboards? Like a t-shirt? Like they make like a whole like sheet thing and then they like if you know how like they like do like the big screen and then they like wipe the paint over it with the screen like a t-shirt. That was so crazy to learn. And I'm like, it's wood though. Wouldn't you would be better to have like some kind of like super sticker or something? You know what I mean? Maybe. Or like you just paint it on the machine. And I found out, and I would have thought there would be more like wood burning for like skateboard designs, but that's an incredibly uncommon type of putting designs on skateboards. I thought that was really interesting too, because apparently, like, since it digs into the wood or whatever, it makes them less durable, and that's actually important for skateboards. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And the funny part is that I did all this huge deep dive into learning how skateboards are made when I'm like, I don't know how to skateboard at all. That's one of those things I always wanted to learn was how to skateboard. Skateboard or roller skate, one of those two. And I just never did because I didn't live in an area with good anything for it. So, and also I was the kid who stayed inside and played video games all day and was just like, yeah, one of these days I want to learn how to skateboard. You know what I mean? And just never went outside. But yeah. So like I said, I did this whole huge deep dive on how do they make skateboards, And then I got like an hour into like, or like maybe not an hour, like probably like 30-40 minutes into reading about skateboards and how they make skateboards, and all entirely because somebody else was like, look at this, I'm now selling skateboards. And then I'm like, ooh. And then I spent this big deep dive, and then I had a weird realization. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't even know how to skateboard. That's a weird thing to like be like suddenly super into, Sal. You know what I mean? Like if I had a skateboard, it would just be a really inconvenient poster. You know what I mean? Like, yes, the poster, I needed a special mount for my wall to put up, basically. Outside is scary. Yeah. Yeah. I genuinely kind of wish I didn't have to, like, part of me part of me always wants to have like consistent, like I want to be able to go outside for only fun things. Is that weird? Like I want if I leave my house, I want it better be to like go out to eat at a new restaurant or something, or go see a movie, or visit a theme park or something. I'm so tired of going out of my house for something super like not fun. Like I hate going out. I hate leaving my house to like turn in paperwork, or go to day job, or grocery shop. God, I hate grocery shopping so much because food isn't appealing to me until it's made as until it's actually food. So like the food that I'm like, ooh, I should get that is all the food that I can just instantly eat, like cereal, basically. So I'm just like, ooh, Frosted Flakes. And then I'm like, no, Sal, don't eat cereal. Cereal bad for you. And then I'll be like, fine. And then I go look at vegetables and I'm like, this isn't food yet. And then I'll look at the meat section and I'll be like, this isn't food yet. And I'll be like, I guess I won't get anything. And the funny part is that I love cooking. And it's just like, if I had the craving to like make food, to like have food, like to cook something specifically, I can make basically anything. It isn't food yet. It's such a mood. Yeah. But yeah, no, legitimately, I'm also the type to be like, oh, gyudon, I can make that. And then I'll just like whip up like fancy Japanese cuisine or something. Or I'll just like casually whip up like, you know, oh yeah, no, I'm kind of craving enchiladas. Just sell casually makes up like a plate of like high end enchiladas. I wonder if I can make this enchilada sauce from scratch. Makes enchilada sauce from scratch. And I'm like, that was fun. And then like, but I'll do that like once or twice a month at most. And then the rest of the time I still need to eat food. Something at the start of the week. That's why I always got something good to eat, even when yeah, you see, that's what I was doing. But like I said, I just got paid and I went to the grocery store earlier and I was like, wow, I need to get groceries so that I have food to eat for like the next week or two until I get paid again. And then I bought I bought a case of sugar-free Arizona, and I bought cheese. And that is it. I walked around the grocery store and nothing appealed to me as anything to make in a big batch or anything. Just nothing was like, okay. And I'm like, oh. So I have tea. And I went and walked around to the grocery store for 30 minutes and bought tea and cheese. And that is it. And I'm just like, wow. Way to go, Sal. You sure did buy groceries. On the bright side, I can just go do it again. Like, it's not like that's that big of a deal. It's just like I'm just like, good job. You bought nothing. You know? Uh, Funny part is that I actually really enjoyed doing Instacart for a little bit. Because there was a time when I didn't have a car, and sometimes I would just go on Instacart and then look at all the things that were like on sale, and then I would just like throw a bunch of that stuff in, and it was like easier for me to like process food as like the ingredients for things that way. But like I don't know, that just feels like so much effort to sit and like go through lists, and also you have to then pay extra money to have people deliver you groceries. And it's just like, do I spend an hour on like grocery shopping online, or spend 30 minutes walking around the store? It doesn't matter if it's easier for me to buy food if I don't have to look at it. Bad depending on what you make. Stews, soups, curries. It's mostly just frying the first couple ingredients and boiling it all in my cauldron. Ooh, that sounds fine. I like stews. I don't really like soup. I don't like the thin soups, like where it's just like a liquid, basically. Like I made pumpkin soup, and now like back in November, and I have all of it in my freezer still. Like I've took like two bowls out of bowls. Bowl. Bowl. How does that word sound fake to me now? All of us just instantly. Bowl. 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 Why does that word sound weird? Bowl. Bowl? Bowl. Help. Please. Bow well. Anyway, help. I soup it's like what is okay, the difference between a soup and a stew is the majority of what is in your bowl liquid, or is the majority of what is in your bowl items in a liquid, like items. A good example is if you have a bowl of chili, it is mostly going to be beans and meat. It's all in a liquid, but like the mass of what you're having is mostly meat and beans. So, thus, it is a stew. But plus, I have siblings and a mother that like to liquid bowl. Have stock, add ingredients, soup, or was it stew? Bowl like in bowler hat? Bowl. I prefer stew. I agree. I prefer stew too. It feels more like food because like anyways, I made pumpkin soup because I really like pumpkin soup because it's fancy and nice, and I learned a secret on how to make legitimately I went to a 5-star restaurant, the only time I ever went to a 5-star restaurant, and my mom was obsessed because she went there for a business thing, and we went to this 5-star restaurant. She's like, I just want to take you guys to this place, so I'm gonna splurge, and we're all gonna go to a 5-star restaurant for this one time. And the thing that she was obsessed with was the pumpkin soup, and it was really good. But I drank it, and I'm like, I know exactly how to make this. And my mom's like, what? What do you mean you know how to make this? And I'm like, these are the ingredients. When we get next, let's go to the grocery store, get these ingredients. I can make this. And she was like, okay. And this, the rest of the food was amazing and mind blowing, but the pumpkin soup was her favorite thing there, right? And I went home and I'm like, okay, pumpkin soup. And then I did it. And literally, with the only thing I had to mess with the pumpkin soup to make it taste exactly like the 5-star restaurant was I had to figure out exactly how much milk to put in it. And it was just like, and blew my mom away that she was just like, "Oh, you did know exactly everything that went in it." You know what I mean? So, anyway, I have a big gallon thing of pumpkin soup in my freezer, frozen, that I made in November, which I know that's been a long time, but like I had a bowl of it, and ever since it's super unappealing to me because it's just a drink basically. And I'm like, I liked it. I really love the pumpkin soup, but like part of me doesn't want to just like have a mug of like basically like savory coffee. You know what I mean? Which is basically what it is at a certain point, kinda. Refer to any dish that is prepared by stewing, a method by barely covered in liquid, simmered slowly in a covered pot. It's often made by bringing ingredients to a boil. Ah, like I said, it's the amount of liquid is the thing. Boiling something in a liquid and stewing it. The difference between those two things, as a person who actually, I've worked in kitchens, the difference between those two things is temperature and like length of time and temperature and amount of liquid. A stew will have less liquid per ingredient by, there's more ingredients in the liquid than there is the liquid. And then soup will have less ingredients in the liquid, but than a stew would. And then the other difference is the soup you will cook it hotter, and so thus you will cook it faster. And then and then a stew you will cook it low and slow over a long period of time. It's like the difference between grilling and barbecuing something. Like, you know what I mean? Smoking and grilling something. There we go. I just realized I accidentally sold the prime part I needed to complete. Ooh. Oof. I'm sorry. I I like Warframe, but sometimes like but I found it kind of frustrating that like you really need other people to play with you. It feels like early, at least early on, because it feels like it's so hard to get like it feels like they want me to stick with one guy with just like the one frame until I get super late into the game. And the only ways I could farm to get more frames is like doing a ton of quests that I basically need other people to do with me, because though like I was trying to get the Garuda because I started playing Warframe because so many of my friends play Warframe. Novella, Motherly, Kendo, the basically everyone but Syl plays Warframe. Me and Syl were the only people who did not play Warframe. And then I was like, fine, I'll play Warframe. The whole map, you were still only halfway to beating the whole map? Yeah. It's just like, how am I supposed to farm for stuff when the only place it drops, according to the game, is like Jupiter? And I'm like, I'm only on Venus, girl. I have to go through Mercury, Mars, both of the moons of Mars, just to get to like Jupiter. And then it's not even Jupiter, it's like the third moon of Jupiter to get like part number 4 of like 10 parts. And then you have like, and then it's not even a common drop there. You still have to like kill a million dudes to get it. It's just like, oh no. Yeah, exactly. And then the drop rate's like 0.07, and it's like, and I'm like, I'm not even that far into the game, and I'm already like, oh, it's gonna be one of those things. This game. Yeah, just bothered unlocking the rest of it. Uh, and it's not in like it don't even like and the story feels so like the story is interesting, but it's also very like odd how they have this weird storytelling. And I'm just like, huh? Play while watching a stream though. Always something to do. You know, fair. I could totally see that. It very much feels like a very in the background kind of game. A good thing to do while you do other things. Like that's kind of how I treat Fortnite a lot of the time because I really like I like Fortnite. Uh and one of my go-to things for Fortnite is I'll just like throw not like something in English, something in like an anime up on like my second monitor while I play Fortnite to help me get through shows. Just multitasking. Believe somebody only plays Warframe and no other games if they can do it for COD and Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, like I said, I don't know how much I actually want to like I said, I've been having fun with Warframe. I don't know if I'm still unsure if I want to like really play Fortnite or not Fortnite. Warframe. I'm not sure if I really want to like play Warframe even though I've been having fun with it. You know what I mean? I feel like I could see myself either like really starting to enjoy it even more than I am, or like I've like the grace period of me having fun will wear out. And I'm not sure which one's gonna happen at all. I'm at a crossroads with that game. I but yeah, why? Um get comfortable with trading, you'll fall in love. I didn't even really think about like I didn't know well, I mean like obviously you can trade in games in general, but like I guess I never really thought about it. You know what I mean? Speeds things up immensely. But I love that so many people love the voice. But that is actually I love that has genuinely become like a verbal like a tick thing for me now. I just say that now. I unironically just go boy. Like I do that like in front of like my parents then. Boy. And like I think it's super cute, but I'm also like, oh god, I just do that now. But it's satisfying. Yeah, like I said, I am glad that y'all like that. The funny part is that I started doing it because, God, I'm an anime character. Tick before, so I understand. The funny part is that I got the tick because I started copying another streamer who I thought was who did it a little bit. Not even like that wasn't even like their thing. They just did it sometimes, and I thought it was cute. So now I do it because and I do it a lot and have made it like one of my things. And I just think it's so funny that I'm just like, I thought it was really cute that ODJus did the what sometimes. And I'm like, I like that. I'm gonna do it. And then I'm like, and now that's like a core part of like the Cell character. Frosted Rabbit. That's so funny, Eva. I love that. uh, because of Friends. Yeah. Yeah, fair. But yeah, honestly, actually, I should invite Oni and Lumi on Sullivan sometime. Actually, both of them would be good guests. talk to them very often. I should talk to them. I here. I yeah, like I said, I don't know if y'all have noticed. I've gotten kind of bad at planning. I always want to start doing starting streams off with like an hour of this like just chatting stuff, and then I never do. I'm always just like, I should just go live with the game. I came up with a title for the game. Let's just game. And then I like at the end of every game, like every time we end like a game franchise, like streaming wise, I always take like a day or two off because I'm like, I don't know what to do next. Because I'm just like, I'm so bad at like just like having a plan. And then like I very often fall into like a like I feel like I'm not spontaneous sometimes. I need to like I need to get more I need to do more just like whatevers. You know? Boy. Um bowl. 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 That word still does not sound right. Why does that word sound so wrong? Disappointment! Thank you for the follow! Welcome to the Selvian Legion. I hope you have a sal of a time. Ah, great. I'm so glad disappointment is here. Hi. I love your name. I don't know why I find it so funny. Sorry, I'm drunk. That's totally fine. But yeah, I love your name. It's like, disappointment's here. Something about that's so funny to me. Yeah, thank you. My name is my name. Yep. Yep, 5 more until we've hit 900 followers. Follower count doesn't really matter much in the scheme of things. Like, really? But, like, I don't know. Something about, like, I have already, like, something about hitting 1,000 feels like such a big deal. And it feels like 1,000 and 1,000,000 are the only numbers that really are, like, exciting for followers. And I guess 100 originally, but I'm already past that. You know what I mean? So, like, I really want to hit 1,000. That would make me feel. That would make me be. It would make me feel so like vindicated. Woo, 900. Usually, use a wild disappointment appears. Yeah, like I love that too. That's a really good one. But yeah, no, we 5 more and we're at 900. Yeah, that's exciting. But yeah, boy. Uh, Also, I realized I don't have like any music playing. Let's I can't believe I've gone 2.5 hours without having music playing. I forgot that I don't have background music set for any of these because I decided not to have it, and we haven't even noticed. Fair. Uh, Here. I played rock paper scissors. If you lose, you drink. I suck at rock paper scissors. Do you usually do? It depends. Whenever I do just chatting streams, I try to have music playing. Spotify's down? Oh no. Wait, maybe if I just close the app and reopen it, maybe. You know what? I. Oh, I'm sorry, disappointment. But no, I actually I actually played when I was in college. I played a game. I played a couple really funny games that like I kind of loved some of the college drinking games because some of them were so goofy. Like I played Wizard Staff at one point where you drink like the canned alcohol and every time you get one, you tape it on top of uh your previous one and you make a giant staff and whoever has the biggest staff at the end of the night has to have everybody else make them a wizard hat out of the uh, out of the box that your drinks came in, and they literally have to like actually make it. I always thought that was really fun. And then the other one that I really like was drunk Mario Kart drunk driving, where you just played Mario Kart and switched off with people, and every time you get hit, you had to take a swig of whatever you were drinking, and before you started the race, you had to take a big swig of whatever you were drinking. I don't know, something about those were always just really fun. But I can't drink anymore. Yeah, I know. Spotify is just down. Spotify is just down. Doesn't let me play anything. That's I can't believe that. That's crazy. Just everything is just unavailable. Nope. That was like I like never I don't drink anymore basically. I have a stomach thing now. So now if I drink alcohol, it's like a special occasion. I I do a different thing if I'm going to do that sort of stuff. If I want to get goofy thing, but you know what I mean? Yeah, no, I don't have any way of adding music. Once in a blue moon. Yeah, same. Exactly. That's how I am. So I but I like I said, I used to do that, but like I said, I don't do it no much pretty much anymore. Uh Although I actually had a conversation because with one of my siblings the other day because I thought it would be really funny because I was like, part of me always wanted to have like a stocked bar in my house so that I could make fancy mixed drinks when people come over. Just because I always thought that would be a fun skill to have was to be able to make the fancy mixed drinks. And then but then like, but I'm like, but I can't drink, so I can't do it. Like, what's the point? And then he's like, wouldn't you be the best person to have a mini bar because you don't drink more than like 2 or 3 times in an entire year? Because all your stuff would last forever? Why? Why? And I'm like, oh, wait, yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, wait, I could spend like $100 on alcohol and have it for like 2 or 3 years. Have a fully stocked like bar in my house for years. And I just thought it was like that's funny. I don't drink anymore purely because I don't feel like it. Drinking or medical didn't feel like it. Yeah. Like I said, I don't really do it much anymore. It's like a blue moon thing. Just every once in a while thing for me. But you know, I'll just to flex the bar. Yeah, but like I said, I have always thought like making the fancy drinks and doing the whole bartender thing. I always thought that would be fun. But then I also realized I can kind of do that with coffee anyway. Like honestly, you know what? One of the jobs I had the most fun doing was actually being a barista. It didn't pay very well at all, and I could not do that as a job and like have it be like my job, obviously, because like how would I pay bills on a barista salary? But man, is making like fancy coffee drinks fun. especially when they let you actually come up with your own drinks. Like, I remember for Halloween, I made a drink called the Witch Hazel at this coffee shop I worked at for a little bit, and it was like, we had this like green mint syrup, and I put a little bit of it in with the milk that you steamed, so it made the foam milk. Then you foamed the milk, and if you mixed it right, it would make the milk foam on the coffee green, and then the rest would be your regular coffee, and like would sprinkle a little bit of chocolate on top, and it would be like a choco mint Halloween themed coffee drink called the Witch Hazel. And wait, no, it wasn't even like it was coffee and hazelnut syrups, and then a mint foam. But it was really good, and like I said, it was just like I said, I really enjoyed doing like the barista thing, and I think it's a similar sort of like I just like the idea of like making stuff out of, you know what I mean? Just like something about like doing like the whole like process of like just like you making a little fancy thing like that. Something about that, like just like making a potion. It's kind of like it's like a little kid thing almost. Like I want to make potions, and you know, I think it'd be a fun thing to like sit down and learn. I actually had thought about that. I have a friend who used to be a bartender, and I have actually thought about having the doing a stream where I'm like, teach me how to make mixed drinks. That might be a fun idea. Do like a hand cam stream where we do mixed drinks. But like I also like I said though, I can't drink, so it's like it almost would need to like invite somebody over to drink them for me. I don't know. I just think it's a funny idea. I want to, like I said, I want to do more interesting stuff because I feel like a lot of the time I end up just like playing games, talking. The two stream flavors. Um, why? But yeah, uh, but yeah, like I said earlier, people were, we were doing the maid cafe thing with at Sills, so we might do a maid cafe thing. I actually think that might be a fun idea. I kind of been thinking about trying to do more VR stuff, maybe like a VR community night, or I don't know. Like I kind of want to try doing more community stuff because I never know what to do for like community. Thank you. I'm glad you like the model. But yeah, I've been wanting to do more like community stuff. I think, you know what I mean. I sit in like, I feel like I don't know. Boy, I feel like I've ran out of stuff to talk about. Um, boy, uh, okay, wait. Ever thought about handing out food for the home? Actually, yeah. Every time I see home, I'm like, I wish I could go help people. I wish I could help people more. I actually, I'll be honest. I've always like, I want to do charity stuff, but like, part of me doesn't actually really believe in charities, like the organizations. Because like when I think about it, I've never actually heard of or seen charities actually doing anything. Whenever you hear about charities, it's always them like getting money. They raised so much money for blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, where did that money go? You never hear about people solving stuff. No one ever, and like, so many of the charities don't actually, you know what I mean? I'm always like, you know what I mean? So I love the idea of helping people, but I'm also like, I don't know, I don't know who does anything. Because it doesn't seem like anyone who does any of the charities actually do anything. No one solves any problem. And then, like, so many of them seem to have tons of staff who I assume are getting paid. So then I'm like, I'm just, what, you're just, their business is that they take money from other people so that they can then what, go work on getting more money from other people? I'm always confused about that. You know what I mean? So I don't, that's, so if you've ever wondered why I've never tried to do charity stuff, it's like, charity doesn't feel like a thing that actually does stuff to my brain. And like, I would want to like put it towards something actually like productive and helpful for people, but I'm also like, I don't know, part of me is like, I don't, like I said, I don't think I've ever heard of a charity actually doing anything. So, who do you think will get Gura's place as the face of VTubing going forward? The first to have a ball game type moment in the future? Oh, we already have it. Literally, Gura. Okay. Except for stuff like Make a Wish or organizations that give people food, I never hear about them doing anything either. Yeah, exactly. That makes me kind of be like, how many of them actually do stuff? What do they actually do? And then it makes me feel like if I was to donate to charity, and now I feel like I have to do like so much work. Like I have to actually like go in and look at their actual job structure, like their full business structure. And part of me almost feels like any charity where like the owner gets any of it is a bad charity. And I have a bunch of stuff like that. And also part of me almost feels like maybe the government should just do these things. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's odd. But yeah, as far as the Gura thing, I think we already have people who are kind of in the wings to be like the face of VTubing, and I actually can tell you already who I think the new face of like and this is, I'm gonna say a thing that might be controversial, but it's not a diss at anybody at all, especially not Gura. But I think Gura doesn't like. I think Gura was only really the face of VTubing because she was really popular really early. And I feel like she doesn't do very much to like, she hasn't done as much to like expand tubing beyond bringing it to helping being the most popular person of the group that brought it tubing to English, you know? And I actually think Iron Mouse just is the face of VTubing in the West already above Gura. So I kind of think that only thing that Gura really had above Iron Mouse was that Gura had a bigger company backing her the whole way through and setting her up with these things. And maybe she's a slightly more brand friendly, I guess. So she got, like I said, there's like just a chain of events that I think got Gura these things. But then you could flip around with Iron Mouse, and Iron Mouse has done a collab with like Baby No Money, and she gets collabs with like major clothing brand. She's gotten a major clothing brand collab twice, and like she interacts with all of the top streamers like Kaisenet and stuff regularly. She gets on the news regularly. Like she's been on national news before, and I don't think I think Gura has been on national news once, and I think Iron Mouse has been on a couple times. Got that record, and so many people asked who blew my mind. Yeah, but like the other thing is that like VTubing is more niche than I think. Like once you're in the thing with streaming is like it's super, and just the internet in general nowadays is it's really easy to be in it's really easy to be in a bubble. I I think I think it's really like I hooed Kai Cenat. I didn't know who Kai Cenat was at all. I had never heard of Kai Cenat until people were telling me that he was a big deal. Like this, the stuff with Iron Mouse and Kai Cenat was how I learned who Kai Cenat was. And it's really, like I said, it's really easy to get in a bubble on the internet and just not hear about people outside of your bubble. So like if you were to ask me before the Kai Cenat Iron Mouse drama, or Iron Mouse got on the news, uh, but yeah, when I heard the Kai Cenat Iron Mouse drama originally, that was the first. Like, if you would have asked me before that, who's the biggest person on Twitch right now, I would have said Ludwig or Asmongold, maybe Ninja, which was apparently even further back than both of those two. Uh, maybe even I might have even said Maximilian Dude. I know he's pretty huge. Knowledge for you're still only see a tiny part of it. I didn't know who Queso was until around the same time either. Uh, like Queso and like Queso, I learned about because I actually didn't think Queso was a Twitch streamer dude either. Because I learned who Queso was long before I learned that he was a big deal. Because Syl would watch because Syl and some of my other friends would watch his like rankings of food, his weird TikToks, and I thought he was like a TikToker. That people made fun of him for being fat, and I thought his whole thing was like fat jokes. And what I've seen still, that's kind of like what it is. Not to diss him, just, that's the only experience I've seen of him. Really, I didn't think he was a big streamer, but then like I've had one of my like I have a nephew dressed as him for Halloween because he's such a big. So that's interesting. Also really funny because he's like 4 feet, like my nephew. So it's like in like super skinny, and he's just like, "I'm Queso," and it's just like you put on a hoodie and headphones. But but yeah. Oh, and then like yeah, like I said, I just didn't get it. And like a lot of the big people, I'm like, why would anyone watch this? There's like a specific streamer who's big that I'm not gonna say a specific name, and his like the little bit of content I got shown of him was so off-putting, and like I just did not get why people like. I was like, I would assume he's like a lol cow whatever like niche person. No, apparently he's like one of the biggest people in Twitch. I'm like, oh, okay. You're not even on Twitch. The biggest streamers, period. And I'm just like, oh, hi. You know what I mean? Sometimes this stuff is really interesting, just like the bubble farm. Like I said, just like none of the people I watched ever interacted with him. And it was kind of like that for me with YouTube too for a while. Like I found a ton of people, a ton of YouTubers, like YouTube that I watched for a long time. At a certain point, they stopped collabing with new people, and that was like the number one way that I found new people to watch was they would do something with somebody that I watched, and then my network would expand, or I would go through their old back catalog and find other with, and that would expand my catalog. And at a certain of like YouTubers that I watched, and then at a certain point, nobody collabed with anymore, and then you're just like, oh, I guess this is it for YouTube for me. Then you just I missed out on like a whole era of YouTubing. like of like YouTubers, like just skipped over it entirely because I watched one era specifically, and I just didn't think new people came. I didn't think new people got big. It was kind of how I actually thought because I'm like I didn't hear about anybody, but it was really just like the people who I watched did stuff with, and that's something about that is so interesting. That's part of why I like live streaming a lot more than like YouTube nowadays because it genuinely feels like in the like, or if you like doing a mix probably also is a little bit better, but something about the uh the fact that so many people, if like to keep live streaming going, you're gonna always have people, like it's a lot easier to keep of live streaming, I feel. And it's I've seen people rise and fall even in my own like network of people I know. Like I've watched people get big a couple times already. You know what I mean? And like them start hanging out with big people, and I know people hang out with other people. And like that's so much different than like YouTube. And like no matter what, if you're like in like these kind of creative spaces, it's a way smaller pond than you think it is. Like odds are right now, if right now I probably personally know somebody who personally knows you're like I am at least like I'm at least 2 degrees of Kevin Bacon away from basically every other Twitch streamer. I for sure know somebody who like I know somebody who knows somebody famous, like some other big streamer, no matter who they are. Basically anybody, roughly. I would say who like has met them, knows them, has talked to them. I'm at least like 3 steps away from literally everybody. I mean that's like, and I could like, and or less. I would say I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Know somebody. I am one person. Fair. It just like something about like I said. Honestly, like I said, just a lot of the time it's just like sometimes that kind of thought makes you think like, wow, famous people are just like other people doing the same thing that you are a lot of the time. It's kind of crazy to think about, you know? But yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. It's a small world after all. But uh, uh why? Um, learned that seeing a famous, and I mean famous here, Finnish rock star at the grocery store to. I mean, I've actually met some famous people. I have met, and I'm not even talking like meet them in like the sense that like, I'll go over it a little bit. So I went to a Rhett and Link concert and paid for the behind the scenes thing. So I actually got to meet Rhett and Link. I actually feel like I embarrassed myself. So I kind of have a weird hang up about meeting people I look up to now because of that. Well, but the other people I met that were famous are probably worse. I have met. I have also met George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, at a gas station outside of a ski resort. Like, legitimately. And I was like, "Thank you for Star Wars," and he was like, "Yeah." Not even joking. Like I even got to see his name like on a card. So like George Lucas. So I got to meet. So I met George Lucas and Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is apparently not really nice. doesn't like it. He doesn't like his fans actively. Person to say that, so yeah, I mean, fair. That is totally fair. I feel like I would have had a better reaction if I would have just thanked him for something like Indiana Jones and not Star Wars. Everyone, like, I don't even like Star Wars that much. But yeah, apparently Harrison Ford doesn't like his fans. He actually like actively he thinks of himself kind of like a salesman. He sells you a product. He has no obligation outside of the product he made to care at all about you. And he doesn't want to give you that. And I assume that's because Star Wars started in the 70s, and I think like the fans of Star Wars have probably just burnt him out so much. But yeah, no, I met Harrison Ford sort of. I was at a place and Harrison Ford came in, and I'm trying not to avoid details that could dox me. Essentially, I worked at a place. Harrison Ford came in. I freaked out, but I didn't say anything. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it went, pretty much. He came up to a counter I worked at, talked to somebody else, and I'm like, I met Harrison Ford. Because I stood next to somebody talking to Harrison Ford. So I guess I didn't really meet Harrison Ford. Um, who else did I meet? I met a bunch of people at TwitchCon, but it feels weird to even like consider them. Like Rhett and Link are like one of the only like YouTubers that I'm like that feel like actual celebrities. See actors Michael and Franklin love interacting with talking about like people mentioning it at all. It sounds about right. Yeah, like I said, I've met a bunch. Like I've met some people, but yeah, like for a while, like I said, because I was so awkward, being bigger people, like big famous people, I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that anymore. But honestly, weirdly enough, like Twitch sort of making me interact with big people a couple times because mostly at TwitchCon, but I've gotten to interact and like meet some bigger people and who I originally would have thought would have been a big deal. Now I'm kind of like, I actually feel like I've warmed back down to like a normal person level, and like meeting people who make stuff that I think is cool would actually be cool again. So like, I actually think I would enjoy going to a convention again. You know what I mean? So I should plan going to a convention. That might be fun. It's not TwitchCon. Like, I mean, I'm gonna go to TwitchCon, or I want to go to, I want to go to TwitchCon again this year, but I don't know how I'm gonna work that. But yeah, I'm actually really bummed because my job situation changed here, and this was the year we were all gonna try to go to Offkai, and then because I wasn't able to like put effort behind it because everyone else wasn't like passionate about doing Offkai, we just aren't going. Because I'm like, I can't afford Offkai, so I had to back out of the convention. I got everyone to kind of agree to like go to. Then everyone's just like, okay. It's just like, oh. Then just no one went. I think Offkai has already happened. I would kill to actually get invited to some of these conventions. Oh, I would love that so much. I wonder how like I wonder how that works. You know, at one point, so I actually have an extra large plasma, like I have some extra plasma TV, and I at one point thought it would be a good like self-marketing idea to go to like a convention and set up like a meet and greet for myself as a VTuber and maybe some of my friends too, and that be a whole booth at a convention, and just be like, "Yo, it's Sylveon's VTuber portal," and it's just like a TV with VTubers on it and a camera, and like somebody manning the booth so nothing of the stuff gets stolen, and just being like, "Hey, what's up?" And like obviously you're not gonna meet fans like at like the average convention, but like wouldn't that be kind of? I think that would be kind of a fun, interesting thing to be like, "Hey, how's it going?" You know what I mean? And like get yourself exposed to a bunch of people in like an advertisement kind of way. And since I have, like I said, since I do have an extra TV in a closet, and it's not even like a small TV, it's a large TV. It's like a 32. I just got given not even a 32, it's like 45, 50 something. I thought that would be such a fun idea to just do. But then every time I've looked into it, it's a lot harder to get into a convention like that than I thought. And then it's just like, I guess we'll just table this idea for now. But I still think that would be such a fun idea. Maybe someday, you know? Uh, and then the other problem with it is I'd have to do a convention fairly close to me if I'm going to actually set up the booth myself. And then part of me also is like, if I'm going to set up a booth, I know the goal is to like self advertise, but part of me is also like, I should probably like have something else at the booth, merch or something. Then that requires me like buying up a ton of my merch to sell in person. You know, like it's like a whole deal. Like I'd have to. There's a lot more planning involved required for something like that. You know. So, like I said, I like the idea, but I'm on. But one of those maybe someday kind of a thing. Sadly. Yeah. Um. Why? Maybe someday. I think I might start wrapping up here because we've gone for 3 hours. Um, Play. How did you like a just chatting stream? These are kind of rare nowadays. I haven't done these. um, it's been 3 hours. Oh yeah, 100%. I always tell myself I should do these more or have a more dedicated section to these because I always feel like it's lovely. Oh, I'm glad. Um, I always feel like it would be better to like take subjects and like I feel like they're better for something like clips if you can farm them right. If you not farm, like separate the stuff like clips. I think they are really good. But then like I never actually like do them because like when I watch clips of of like other VTubers, they like are never playing games. They're always talking, you know. So I'm always telling myself I should do more of these. Like I said, I wanted to do a like an hour of just chatting before every game I played. I actually didn't really intend to always tell like silly little stories. Yeah, I actually never intended to do the whole stream as a just chatting stream. Funny enough, I meant to just go for an hour or so and then switch to the game and then just do like then just go for like the rest of the night with DAD Doki board. But yeah, I originally intended to just buy like an hour and then we switched to Metal Gear, but just kind of kept going. So, and it took me like 2.5 hours to start running low on stuff to talk about. So anyway, I hope you all had a cell of a time. I'm gonna send you guys all over to my friend Umbra. She is playing some Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed and you haven't yet, please give a follow. It really helps with the algorithm, and I am almost to 1,000. Or I'm not. I'm like really close to 900. And like I said, I'm really wanting to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. That would actually mean a lot to me. That's like it'll be the last number I care about with followers, I feel. But anyway, join the Discord if you'd like to hang out and keep up to date with all things Cell. Probably the best place to do so. Check out my socials. We are somewhat regularly posting things on everything, especially now that I can edit on my phone. Check out our merch store if you'd like to get merch. Check out our sponsor, Advanced GG, for powdered energy drinks. Actually, my welcome to the sponsorship, or welcome to the sponsorship program thing actually arrived today, and I can't wait to I'll tell you guys about it, the ones I try from the sample pack tomorrow. And Patreon, do that. We have that too. All right, anyways, love you guys. Bye bye.